the Galaxy mid-range phones. I think let's first talk about the new M series of phones because that's the
Better
only
deal.
Samsung lineup right now that makes sense. We'll talk about the other lineup later and why it doesn't make sense for anyone and how the upper mid-range category is flooded with better smartphones from other brands. But yeah, the M series they work on the price under 15K. So at that price point, you have very few phones which can compare to what Samsung is offering. So let's see what they are offering with their phones. So the first phone is the Galaxy M06. It comes with a 6.7-inch HD plus IPS LCD display, 90 Hz refresh rate, MediaTek Dimensity 6300 processor. It comes with Android 15 based on One UI 7. I don't know if it's out of the box. Hopefully it is because some of the older phones are yet to get One UI 7, which is pretty surprising
Mm-hmm.
considering the delay in Samsung's uh, update rollout for this year, though. The main thing here is that it gets 4 years of OS updates and security updates, which
That's
I
good.
don't think any other brand promises under the 15,000 price point. All of them maximum promise 2 to 3 years of updates, and they just give 1 year, and that they might not even give 1 year of updates properly. So here, Samsung is uh, at least promising a lot of updates. Hopefully, they're able to fix their update timelines. Camera wise, it's a 50 megapixel main sensor and a 2 megapixel depth shooter and an 8 megapixel selfie camera. And I don't think most people at this price point want a good camera, but at least it'll be better than some of the other brands at this price point. 5000 mAh battery with 25-watt fast charging and a side mounted fingerprint scanner. And the price is 4 GB. Price is for the 4 GB RAM, 128 GB storage variant is 9,999 or 10,000 rupees. And for 6 GB RAM, 128 GB storage variant is 11,499, almost 12,000 rupees. And you also have a 500 rupee bank discount initially, and the sale starts from 7th March, which is next week. So I think the design of this phone is also pretty decent. It doesn't make it look like a cheap phone, and looking at the specs, I think it's a good phone for 10,000 rupees. And the main thing, like I said, is the software updates. The only other phone brand which I might recommend under this price point is Motorola, but Motorola doesn't provide their updates on time. And maybe Lava, we still have to see their promises with their updates in their Blaze series and things like that. So yeah, if you compare with all of these things, the Galaxy M06 obviously um, gains. I mean, is better. The M16 comes with 6.7-inch FHD plus Super AMOLED display, 90 Hz refresh rate. So that's the upgrade. The chip remains the same, MediaTek Dimensity 6300. I think on their website they put the Antutu score as 4,22,000. So that's a decent chip for the price point. Android 15 base One UI 7. That's same again. But in this phone, you get 6 years of OS updates and security updates, which is insane. 50 megapixel main sensor, 5 megapixel ultra wide, 2 megapixel macro, 13 megapixel selfie, 5000 mAh battery, 25-watt fast charging, side mounted fingerprint scanner, all of them slight upgrades in the camera compared to the M06. And the price for the 4 GB RAM 128 GB variant is 12,499. 6 GB RAM 128 GB storage is 13,999, and 8 GB RAM 120 GB variant is 15,499. So all of these phones are there's a 1,000 rupee bank discount. So after discount, effectively all of these phones come under 15K. And at that price point, I think for what it is on the spec sheet, it's a really good phone. And the main highlight, like I said, for me is 6 years of OS updates and security updates, which is unmatched from any other brand at this point. So kudos to Samsung for at least setting the benchmark that high. And one of the tweets I saw from one of the people on X is there are 50 these Chinese manufacturers with 50,000 plus flagship phones, and they will receive the same or fewer Android OS updates than the 10K Samsung phone. So that's like literally crazy that these Chinese brands, although they've gotten ahead in terms of maybe the battery tech or other things, Samsung is working on what actually matters, which is the OS experience and the software updates. Albeit the experience of One UI on a flagship phone and on a budget phone is very different. But yeah, you At least, I mean, you get some bloatware, but that you can obviously delete. You don't have the hot apps, hot games, things which these Chinese
Mm,
manufacturers have. You'll get some Samsung apps, but those will be tucked away in one folder which you'll never open. So that way it's at least manageable compared to the Chinese manufacturers. So under 15K, I would recommend a Samsung phone, but as soon as you go over that, it
there
gets
are a lot of better
abysmal in terms
options.
of pricing. You
Yeah,
so their A series launch for this year has happened, and it's A36 and A56 that has been launched. So the A36 is priced at 32,999 for 8,128, 35,999 for 8,256, 38,999 for 12,256. And for this price, what you get is a 6.7-inch FHD plus AMOLED display, 120 Hz refresh rate, 12,000 nits of brightness in high brightness mode, Gorilla Glass Victus Plus protection in the front and the back, Qualcomm Snapdragon 6 Gen 3, which is really underpowered for this price point. At this price point, you can probably get a OnePlus 11R, 12R, which comes with 8 Gen 2, 8 Gen 3, which are the flagship chips of last year. Android 15, okay. 6 years of OS updates. That's also okay. I think if you see the OnePlus phones, they also provide 5 years of updates, so that's like to like comparison. 50 megapixel OIS main camera, 8 megapixel and 5 megapixel are the other two. 12 megapixel selfie camera, plastic frame, 5000 mAh battery, 45-watt charging, and the adapter isn't included in the box. IP67 rating, in-display fingerprint scanner, and you get the color options of black, white, and lavender. The interesting thing here is the 45-watt charging in these phones. Someone was pointing out that the S25, regular S25 and S25 Plus come with 25-watt charging, while these phones come with 45-watt charging. So that's an interesting move. But apart from that, the main problem with this phone is the chip is too underpowered for its
price
price
point.
point.
Yeah,
Like I said, for this price, 38,999 for their highest storage variant, or even 32,999, you can get phones like the OnePlus 11R, OnePlus 12R. Although their camera might not be as good, but this phone also doesn't have that great of a camera. Or maybe you can, if you want a bit more performance, you'll get the IQOO Neo 9 Pro and phones like that. So they have way better performance than these phones. If you thought that was bad in terms of value, this is the A56. The price for 8 GB, 128 GB is 41,999. 8 GB, 256 GB, 44,999. 12 GB, 256 GB is 47,999. You're almost touching 50K. And at this at this price point, I think you pay 10K extra and you get the iPhone 16e if you're considering, if you're even considering this phone. Um, anyway, for those people interested with this spec, 6.7-inch FHD plus AMOLED display, 120 Hz refresh rate, 1200 nits high brightness mode, Gorilla Glass Victus Plus is the same. The processor here is the Exynos 1580, and almost everything else is the same. The camera is a 50 plus 12 plus 5 instead of 50 plus 8 plus 5. Um, and 12 megapixel selfie is the same. Plastic frame gets upgraded to a metal frame. Everything else is the same. 5000 mAh battery, 45-watt charging, IP67 rating, in-display fingerprint scanner. The colors in this are awesome: graphite, gray, and olive. So yeah, overall, I think you shouldn't consider either of them. And I think Samsung's strategy here is to push it in the offline markets where the um, sellers try to push you to buy this phone because A series has that um,
the
sort of
name.
rep of being the
Yeah, yeah.
premium part of Samsung mid-range. So they might try to push it offline. Similarly, with what happens with the Vivo and Oppo phones. Apart, like there are good Vivo and Oppo phones, but what ultimately gets sold are the um, non value for money phones, and like the Vivo Y series or the Oppo F14 and F15, that series which they have. Although these phones are terrible value for money, they get pushed in the offline markets. Like if you walk into a Purvika right now, you will only see phones like the Oppo F14, Vivo Y series, and the Samsung A series, and naturally the salesman will push you to buy these, and people who aren't that
I
tech
think
savvy will
the
fall
Samsung
into
M
their.
series are Amazon exclusives.
Yeah,
So
Samsung M series is Amazon exclusive, so they had to price it properly.
yeah, the F series used to be Flipkart and offline, and A series.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Yeah, don't get these phones. The M series ones are something you should consider. The A series, absolutely not. I think that time has passed. Even the previous generations are extremely disappointing. There were never value for money phones. That has always been the case, but it's getting worse year on year. So just letting you guys know
The
that.
the
The
last value for money A series phone which I remember was the A52s, and to an extent A53. From the A53 they started upping the price and they've not stopped from there. So yeah, that's the state of Samsung right now. Their
Yeah.
full focus is on the S series, and because that's what drives their sales right now, and they're just trying to make as much profit as possible from their mid-range phones by pushing it through their offline
Mm-hmm.
distribution which they have. And yeah, I think that's the sad state, and at least that has led to brands like IQOO, Motorola, and all of those brands come up and come back in a huge way. Like Motorola has made a huge comeback over the last 2 3 years. So yeah, thanks to Samsung for that. Maybe
Yeah.
moving on to the
And
last topic
I
is
can wait. I can also
uh,
imagine the M series phones being a lot of people's first phone. So if we have any like kid
yeah.
listeners, this might be your first phone. Just letting you guys know that, because most of the M series I see that are being used on a daily basis are being used by people who get it as their first phone. So you will be frustrated by the phone, because usually that entry level phones are not that performance oriented. But yeah, these phones are actually good, and they can be considered.
Thanks for watching the clip till the end. If you want to watch more clips from the main podcast, then don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you want to listen to the entire episode, then you can go check it out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Google Podcasts, whichever app you use. The link will be in the description below. And YouTube thinks this video right here will be the best one for you to watch next. So click here and I'll meet you there.